Hello there, it's Psychic Cynthia again, and we're doing Tea Time in the Garden. Welcome. And today I'm on a bit of a kick teaching about empathy and making a couple of videos for empaths. It's really because I'm about ready to teach a workshop this weekend about empowering empaths and how those of us who have that empathic tendency can live more happily and peacefully and just really productively in our lives. And I have with me today from the garden one of my mini pots of begonia. And I just wanted to show her off as we were beginning, because if you're an empath, this is one of the plant vibrations you might want to know about. Begonia is a very strong heart healer. And when I say that, understand I'm not talking about medical aspects or the physical, the physical heart. I'm talking about the heart, the realm of feelings and emotions. And I get asked a lot of times, by clients and people that I encounter on this path, they're always sharing with me about their struggles being an empath and how hard it is for them, because they absorb a lot of feelings and energies. And they ask me, Cynthia, how do you personally stay well adjusted? If as an empath, obviously I'm sensitive. I'm a professional psychic and am able to tune into the energies, and I'm also a medium. So I have some of that sensitivity myself, and yet I am able most of the time to maintain, a kind of balance, a kind of peace. And I want you to know it's not something that just happens, okay? It wasn't easy in the beginning, and I think the core message that I would like to say today, that if you are empathic, in other words, if you have that kind of sensitivity, and I don't mean just a psychic sensitivity. I do believe empathy is a kind of psychic sensitivity, but it's very particular. It's kind of like being an emotion psychic or a physical psychic. You pick up on the energies. It's a bit like being a sponge in some ways. I'm not saying that in the negative sense, but that, your aura is very porous and absorbent. And if you have any of those tendencies at all, it's very important for you to work in the heart realm, to give balance and energy to that, and to make that a priority. Heck, it's very important for you to make yourself and your health and well-being a priority. And when I say well-being here, yes, I do include the physical aspect, because I think that helps us to ground. And also when we, especially with movement, I'm very big on that. Exercise, not just to stay thin. It really has nothing to do with that in regards to this topic here, or the spiritual world. It's just more about exercise to keep the energy flowing. Physical energy helps with that. And when you have your lower physical self is moving through exercise and energize, it actually helps to connect it up with the higher self. So it is very important to have that physical well-being. And I know some people really get into working with foods and diet to help balance them in their tendency towards empathy. I'm just sort of an old-fashioned naturalist, and I just say eat food, real food, less processed food. And you can get more specific than that if you want to. I personally have not observed, nor do I believe that, say, for example, all empaths can't eat wheat, or all empaths can't eat sugar, or they can't have caffeine. That's simply not true in my experience. I think it's very difficult to universalize these dietary things, and I don't think that concentrating on diet only is enough, or even the most important part. But certainly, you will find it balancing to your field, and it will help to take care of you as an empath if you will eat nutritious foods. Okay, so you don't have to get out there into some far-flung out diet, or it's not required to weigh a certain amount to be healthy as an empath. But you might want to think about eating less processed food, because the thing about processed food, I want you to think about this for a minute. If you're an empath and you are sensitive to energies, and the more energies that there are, the more that come into your field, processed food has by definition been through a lot of processes. I mean, think about that. It has been through a lot of places and been through a lot of procedures. And, you know, you might even be absorbing all the energy of those different processes. Have you thought of that? So rather than, you know, eating overly processed food, I mean, try an apple, okay? Try a piece of meat that has been cooked if you eat meat. You know, bread is processed by nature, but, you know, maybe, you know, you try some a little less processed, or you don't eat as much of that. I'm not saying you can't have any bread or pasta or anything like that. You know, be comfortable in your diet, be at ease, you know, with what really feeds you. But do think about the less processed food. If you're looking from the dietary perspective, that's the one thing I would share on that in today's video. And I think that might help some of you. And, you know, fruits and vegetables and those types of things, preferably organic, because it's had less of the chemicals on it, right? And that's less energies for you to be exposed to. It's very energetic, what I'm saying here. You don't have to break it down into what chemical causes what or what nutrient does what. Just good nutrition and less process would help, you know, a little. So think about that on your path of coming into your full power and glory, your full beauty as an empath. Because this can be such a beautiful path. You know, the world does need more people who care and are sensitive and are kind. And empaths can have that when they are healthy. Inside and outside, I suppose, too. And begonia is one of the plant vibrations for the heart healer. I take it in flower essence form, and I make my own essences. And those of you, you know, some of you watching this do purchase from me, and that's great if you do, but, you know, you could make your own essence or buy from someone else, or you could simply grow begonias. They make an excellent house plant, and this plant does overwinter inside and then comes outside in the summer. So, you know, the plants are such great helpers for those of us who are empath. They are, a lot of them have a lot of green, you know, in the leaves at least, and green is the color that vibrates to the heart chakra, and it's the middle tone in the chakra system. It's the middle tone. And so that sort of, well, it doesn't just ground us, but it balances us. It balances us. So we need that green energy. We need to be outside in the green. Even if you don't want to grow a garden like me, get outside in a garden when you can in the warmer months. But, you know, to be an empath and to be healthy and well-balanced, for me at least, in my personal journey, it's all come down to really learning about how to love and value myself, not in an egotistic way, not in a, you know, not like an a-hole way, okay? But, you know, if you're an empath too, I mean, probably having too much ego is not going to be your problem. In fact, most natural-born empaths need to develop more ego. You know, healthy ego is healthy. We need ego to function well in this universe, in this material world, I should say. In fact, I would go so far as to say, like, when somebody seems to be too egotistic, I would go so far as to say they actually don't have a healthy ego. Because I believe people that feel the need to act in an overly egotistic way and to throw their power around, they're actually quite insecure in themselves. And they don't have that healthy, developed sense of self. So I would encourage you to look at it this way on your path of health as an empath and well-being and finding and expressing your own beautifulness. The key is not to block other people out. The key is not to build heart walls. And I know a lot of times when empaths come to me, they're talking about everyone else around them and all the negative energies and what do I do about them? How can I change them? Let me give you a little secret, dear one. You can't change them. The only person you can change or help or alter in any way is you. You. And I find that the more an empath is focused on trying to change them, whoever they are, the more miserable that empath is. the more low on energy, the worse the health. So pull back in some of your emotional energy and bring it back to you. And let's start working on you and what you can do, not so much to just improve yourself. You can think of it that way if you want. But what can you do to show more of yourself, to build that healthy sense of ego, to nurture you, to express your creativity, to take care of you? You know, taking care of you, feeding your own cup so that you have something in the cup to share with others. That's what's important. So yes, learn to psychically shield. Learn to do all of that. Learn how to cleanse, negative and dark energy if you take that in. But you'll find that as you put the attention more on strengthening you, there's less crap that comes in. Okay, that's it right there. That's what I did. That's what I do. That's what keeps me uplifted. And I know if I start to feel, that little empathy drain, if I start to feel, cranky or resentful, or like I don't want to be around people anymore, that's my sign that I haven't been spending enough time nurturing me. And I might add that most empaths, whether they are naturally extroverted or introverted in their personality, most empaths do need time alone, or at least time away from social gatherings, maybe with just one or two people around them, or maybe just time alone in nature or with their animal friends. We do need that to recharge. We have to have some time out of the static, as I think about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the static can be ecstatic, but we need that time to go back into our own energy field. So one of the easiest things you can do is just spend some time enjoying quiet time, doing the activities that you enjoy that are away from it all. So those are some tips that I'm thinking about and sharing with you today from the garden. Until next time, I thank you for tuning in and watching. Love to you all, and bright blessings.